guys, and welcome back to my podcast. And today I am just going to do a regular episode with y'all. If you have watched my previous podcast, I do a pretty similar format to all the other podcasts that you probably are familiar with. Finished objects, whips, acquisitions, yarny goodness, and like future plans, so nothing too out of the normal. I do want to mention that you should go and check out my other videos. I did a thrift with me where I got to show you guys a ton of different things that I was looking for at my local thrift stores, and I found some really nice yarn finds, which was really surprising and was quite pleased with it. And then I also did a how much can I knit in an hour video, so if you're interested to see how quick or how slow I am at knitting, go ahead and click the link in the description and that will show you my other video. With that being said, I guess I'll just start this episode. So the first thing I should talk about are my finished objects, which I have two with me, but I have three with me, but I did finish another one. I'll just have to insert a picture though, because that one was a gift knit and I've already gifted it, and I don't have it with me. So the first thing I finished was, some of you who have been watching for a while are probably going to be proud of me, but I finished my Craggy Shore sock. And yes, I definitely need to get a sock blocker because I don't have one and these socks look pretty sad right now. But this was a pattern that I had been wanting to knit up forever, it feels like. I talked about it this year, way in the beginning, of one of those socks that I would want to knit up, and I finally finished it. It is a really cool pattern. It's super simple, just knits and purls, and it makes this really nice like weaved pattern. It kind of reminds me of like a snake. I think it's cool. It's a very warm, comfy sock. I do have large feet. I was knitting this and I was like, I hope I didn't make it too big, and then when I put the sock on it fit perfectly and I was like, yeah, I have large feet. But it's okay. At least now I can make myself some cozy socks. But I only have the one done. I don't have the second because I have been working on some other gift knits with the holidays coming around, and that's been preoccupying my time. But the good news is, if you watched my last podcast, I think it might have been the one before, I said I wanted to get this done by, I think it was 2 weekends from where I was in that point, and I did finish it, so that was really fun. We were actually in South Dakota in the Badlands, and I was just knitting away, trying to get as much as I done, and I finally cast it off before we got to, I think it was Mount Rushmore or something like that. So I cast it off, and then I got to enjoy the Badlands and not have to worry about my knitting, because I probably wouldn't have knit. It is such a cool place. If you've ever been there, I recommend it. If you haven't, it's so cool, and I wish that we could have spent more time there. I wish we could go back, and we probably will since we live here in the Midwest, and it's not that far of a drive. More about the sock though. So this pattern is just made with, I want to say, German twisted cast on, and then it's just got a simple 1x1 rib for just a few rounds, and then you continue in this chart pattern, and I always mess this up when I try to say it because it doesn't make sense to me when I say it out loud, but it makes sense in the pattern when you're reading it. But you start with doing a 6-stitch pattern, and it's knit 4 and then purl 2, I believe is what it was. And you just continue to repeat that pattern. Then when you get to 4 rows, you swap, and it turns into a knit. Let me just read it here. A knit 1, purl 2, knit 3 is what it turns into. Yeah, so that's the correct saying. And then depending on the size that you're knitting, there's a ton of different charts that you can follow. So I think I knit the medium, if I had to remember correctly. I knit the medium, and then the heel construction was kind of cool. It was a little bit different shaping than what I've done before. I think it was literally like German short row shaping is what they used. I don't remember. This is like a week ago at this point. And I did the heel so fast. And then it's just picking up stitches in the gusset here. And yeah, it turned out really nicely. I am really proud of this sock. I think it's a really pretty sock, and I can't wait to finish the second one so I can actually wear them. But right now it's just been sitting nicely away in my finished objects. So that was the first thing I finished. The second thing I finished is this amazing hat, and so I knit this. This is the rhombus pattern, and if you've watched my last video, you know what I'm talking about. And this hat is seriously like the cutest thing. I want it, but it's a gift for my mother-in-law, and I think she'll like it. I think it's really cute. It's one of my most, like, I'm the most proud of this project, I think, is the way I should explain it. But this is such a cool hat, and I feel guilty with putting it on, but it's so cute. I'm worried I made it slightly too small. I should have knit a size up just to be safe. But like hats stretch. I'm not too worried. I think it'll be okay. It does look like super good. So I ordered this, okay, the yarn that I used for this was Barocco Vintage Chunky Weight, which is machine washable, super user friendly for somebody that doesn't want to hand wash. And it's a wool and acrylic and nylon mix. So that's what this yarn is, and it's like a forest green. It's so pretty. This I just bought on eBay. It's a Minnesota wild patch that I literally just ironed on it, and it turned out really nicely. And then this I just got at a craft store for a little pom-pom hat thing that I wanted to stick on there. And then I did put a button on the inside, so it is removable. And this is just like twisted on there like a ponytail twist. Like you can see a little bit. It's just twisted on there a few times. So that way she can wash it without having the pom-pom and risking not getting ruined if she wants. But I don't know if she will, because it's kind of hard to get the little band back on the inside of it, because I used a crochet hook and not everybody has a crochet hook. So I'll probably have to tell her, like, if you want to wash it and you want to take it off, like, just tell me to come up with my crochet hook and I will be there. So otherwise, I think you can use like a darning needle, but then again, not everybody has a darning needle. But yeah, so this is like the coolest thing ever. I've gotten so many compliments from people saying like, oh, you should sell those. That's so good. Can you make me one? Like, I've gotten so many compliments, and I will say it's been quite a journey, and I've been very inspired by the people around me to continue working at knitting and like possibly see where that takes me in the future. I think that would be so cool. But yeah, this is a gift knit, so now that I'm recording, I'm literally going to wrap it up after this video and put it away for her to see in a week. So that is that pattern, or finished object. Then this one I literally cast on yesterday and I finished today, and it is a brioche style headband, and it's not perfect, as you can see. The middle is not straight at all. But it's a really cute headband. I like it. I actually got compliments on it when I was in the store today. And I believe it is like the Drejo pattern. I'll leave a link in the description because I think it's Danish and I don't know Danish. But the pattern was nice. I sort of followed it, sort of just kind of did it on my own because I've never done brioche and I thought this would be a fun way to explore brioche. And it was. I actually thought it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I was super intimidated at learning brioche originally, but I realized that that's silly to be intimidated about learning a stitch. So I did it. I finished it very quickly. It's a headband, so it was really nice and easy to knit up. And again, I already got compliments on it, so that was cool. And this was knit with Ultra Prima cotton. What is it? Yeah, Ultra Prima cotton by Cascades in this like peachy pink color. I don't think this lighting does a very good job of showing the color. But I did that as well as held it with this Diablo mohair just for fun. I kind of wanted to see what it would turn into, and like I kind of like it. It's this really cool marled look. Not something you'd typically see. I think it could be a pretty headband on its own, but this is what this made, and it's it's pretty cool. Very unique. This was definitely a quick knit. Again, I sort of followed the pattern, sort of just kind of made it make sense to me. And you start with the brioche, just knitting straight for like a few inches. I passed that and I was like, I don't really want to frog back. So I just made the twist where I wanted to. And then for the twist, you basically just turn the work and you don't knit all the way through. So you knit like, I think it was like 5 stitches. And then you just make that the length you need it to be, and then you cut the yarn. Then you go back and pick up the larger band that goes under the twist, and you're supposed to switch the stitches like halfway through, so that way when you meet back up under the twist, the pattern is correct. Whereas instead what I did, instead of switching because I was too lazy and I didn't want to do that, I just knit 2 together when I joined, and then I made a new stitch on the edge over here. So I decreased and then increased on the next round. And you can't even tell. Like, maybe you can if you're super trained, but like you can a little bit, but most people I don't think can tell, so I was fine with it. I probably will make some more of these because I think they actually are really cute. And I might just make some more of a single color. Super, super versatile. You can make it whatever yarn weight you want, or you can make it whatever color you want, obviously. So this was a fun pattern. I think it's a great start to brioche. It made me not scared of brioche, so it's a thumbs up from me. That is all that I have for finished objects, and honestly, like, I'm okay with that. Oh, let me talk about the one I don't have with me. I will insert a picture here. It is a cozy, itsy bitsy gingerbread house little ornament thing, and I made it for my boss because her birthday was, I think, like a few days ago. So I made it for her, gave it to her, she already stuck it on her desk, and that made me feel really happy and really good. So it's just a cute little gingerbread. It was not the funnest thing to knit, I'll be completely honest. It was really small, first of all, which sewing things that are small are not very fun. And you knit all of the sides and frames, and like every piece you knit separate and then sew it all together. And nobody likes to sew things, so that was not fun. I should have read more into it. I thought it would be similar to the other smaller things that I've made where you can just make increases and knit all in one one piece. But no, it was not that way. But it still turned out okay. I'm not the best at embroidering. I noticed my chain stitch did not look very clean, but I took some nice little pictures of it, and hopefully you saw. I think it was just, it was quick. I finished it in like an evening and a half, so I can't be upset. I was able to give it as a gift, and she liked it, so yeah. I think I stitched a little button on it, and then I made a little bow, and then I just stuck a little piece of yarn through the ceiling or roof of the gingerbread house, so that way it can hang if she pleased. Yeah, it was a nice little finished object. That is all I have officially for finished objects. I only have a few whips, but I'm probably going to start another one. So the first whip is this sock, which I cast on immediately after I finished the Craggy Shore sock. And it's just a plain vanilla sock, but in this really pretty yarn by Cascades Yarns. And I showed this in my second podcast, I think is when I acquired it. And it was originally going to be a gift knit. I decided to scrap the gift knit. I'm just going to do hats because they don't stress me out as much. And socks, you have to worry about like getting the right foot size, and then also like, I don't know how I feel about somebody stepping on something that I made and put a lot of hard work and effort into. No, I'm just joking. I think I just would rather have the socks for myself. The only thing is, this one, I definitely made the heel turn like way too small. Like, who has a baby-sized heel? Not me. But I don't want a frog back, so we're just gonna continue as it is and see how it turns out. But it's okay because it's just for me. But yeah, this is a really pretty, I think it's the Heritage Prince yarn by Cascade Yarns. It's a super pretty, like, stone-washed yarn, and this is what it looks like in the cake, which is super messy. This thing has unraveled like 3 or 4 times, and I've just kind of thrown it together, and hopefully it doesn't turn into a big mess, but we'll have to see. I do love how it's turning out. I cannot believe how quickly I knit this up, guys. I finished the entire like leg on the drive home from South Dakota, and then I did the part of the heel turn, or not the heel turn, part of the gusset, or heel flap. Oh my gosh, get my terminology right. Part of the heel flap, and I want to say the whole heel turn, and then maybe a few rows while I was at my mother-in-law's on our way back from South Dakota. And then I've just been super like casually knitting it for the last week. I've finished some other things in the meantime, so it's really been just on the back burner. What I wish I did was just simply start the second sock of the Craggy Shore sock, because I've lost interest in this sock entirely. But that's fine because I think I'll be able to finish it in a day or 2 of just knitting, so I'm not too worried about it. I'll get it off the needles at some point. It's just a plain vanilla sock. I just did a simple 2x2 ribbing and continued through. I'm using the same pattern I followed for my blue socks that I knit just like these. It's the Favorite Sock pattern, I think, by Kristen Lehrer, I think is what it was. But I'm just following that same pattern because I liked it. The socks turned out nice and I can wear them. So that is all I have for sock whips. The next whip is the hat I'm making for my mom. So this one, I love the pattern so much and it worked up so quickly. I was like, I can do another gift knit for a hat. So I'm going to do this. It's a really nice, pretty cream color-ish. It's super soft. I am super impressed with this yarn for it being acrylic and how soft it is. I was thinking acrylic because that's probably the easiest again for them to them to wash if they need to. This one I made a size larger than I did the last one because I wasn't about to have somebody not have their hat fit again, and I wasn't even going to worry about it because I have a toddler size head. It is seriously so small. I cannot use my head for proper judgment because everybody has a bigger head than me. Literally my younger brother, when he was like 3 years old, had a bigger head than me, and I'm like 10 years older than him. Makes no sense, but whatever. Let's see. I mean, this is the rhombus pattern. I've talked about this pattern I literally love this pattern. It's super fun to knit. It's super quick. It works up well, and it's a good pattern. I like it. It's such a pretty hat. So I'm gonna finish this one up. Obviously, this is just the folded brim part. So in case some of you guys were looking at me weird, like, what are you doing? That's the start of it. And I'd already got the little thing to stick on top, pom-pom. And some people were like questioning whether these were too big or not, and I compared them to hats in store. And I was like, no, they're the same size. Like, stop making me second guess myself of if it's too big for the hat. But maybe it still is, so let me know if you think that these pom-poms are too big for these hats. Or maybe that's just the style right now, and that'll go out of style at some point. If that ever happens, I just won't buy them. But right now, I think they're cute, and they add character. That's that whip. Let's see, what else? I know I have one other whip. I'm not sure where it is or what it is, but I swear I had one more. Obviously the Ingrid sweater, but this really hasn't changed much. I literally have not worked on this at all from my last podcast, so I will show it to you, but it looks exactly the same. I think this is the back. Yeah, this is the back. Yeah, definitely. So it literally looks exactly the same. Ooh, that's gonna be a fun mess to untangle. Fun. It literally is exactly the same. I haven't had a chance to work on it. I've been working on other things, which is fine because we all are entitled to our projects and we can work on them as we wish. And like different things make more sense to work on at different times, you know? It's just the story of a knitter. We prioritize our projects differently. Don't mind me. I'm just realizing that this is going to be a mess to take care of, and I don't want to take care of it right now. You know, when things get left in the bag for so long that it starts to make just a massive mess, and then it makes you dread pulling it out of the bag even more. That's kind of how I feel with that project. Fun. I think that's all I have for whips because I can't find or think of what the other thing I was working on, but that's fine, I guess. Like, I've been busy knitting. Anyway, acquisitions. I guess this counts as an acquisition. Same with the yarn that I got. This stuff, I got it actually from Hobby Lobby, I think, and I typically didn't go there to get yarn. I just didn't feel like it. But I was showing my sister-in-law from Singapore the store, and I saw the yarn there. It was on sale, and I thought it would make a good hat for my mom, so I got it, and yeah, honestly, pretty pleased with it, so I'm not too disappointed. I don't know if I will continue to buy yarn there. Like, everybody has their own opinions and whatnot. I, for the longest time, wasn't, but I never know. With that being said, this I also got. So yeah, that was for the hat. I think that's all. There are a few things on my list that I really do need to get and want to get. One of them being a ball winder and a Swift, because this was the Ultra Prima cotton yarn that I got thrifting, and it was hanged up. And I really wanted to use it for that headband, but I didn't have a ball winder or a Swift. So I just stuck it on my chair, and I just winded it away on my own. I used a paper towel roll, and it worked. I got it. Doesn't mean I enjoyed it. But yeah, I think if I could have a Swift and a ball winder, that would be great. Hopefully I'll get some money for Christmas that I can use to go get that later. Otherwise, I think it'd be cool to get some newer needles. This is just me talking, but I want another pair of those red lace ChiaoGoo needles. I love those. They have been working so nicely for my socks, and I want to knit another pair of socks. I want to be able to work on 2 because sometimes I get bored of one. So then I can have more socks on the needles. I think that would be a nice thing to have and get. What else? I did buy the, okay, so I bought 2 patterns that I don't think I talked about. Obviously, I bought the rhombus pattern because I made the hat. So I bought the rhombus hat pattern. Love it. Again, 10 out of 10 pattern. Absolutely. We'll continue to make that hat. It's such a cute hat. And then I also did get the Cargill, not the Cargill sweater. I always say Cargill sweater. I got the Cargill cowl by Rebecca Clow. And I am excited to knit that one up. I was going to use this, and I still might, but I do think I need to get some more. So I'm going to probably go onto Wool Warehouse and buy some yarn, and that way I can knit that with the yarn that I get at Wool Warehouse, because I've heard good things about them, and I want to knit some nice quality, I want to knit with some nice quality yarn, which I don't have a ton of access to. Here, the closest local yarn store I have is all the way in like a different state. I don't have any near me at all, at least that I've found. Hopefully I can find some. But otherwise, I think I'm just going to order online. Yeah, not much I have this podcast, I'm sorry. But I really wanted to show you guys the hat before I wrapped it up and didn't have it to show you in my podcast. I guess for things that I also want to knit up, because I guess there's lots of things that I can talk about with future knitting. Obviously, the Cargill cowl. I want to finish the Ingrid sweater. I don't know when's a good time to give myself for that, because obviously with the holidays coming up, I won't have as many like little things to be working on, and that probably will be my main project again. But I would love to knit that probably by, I think the latest, the end of February. I think I'd be able to finish it in January, to be honest. But I'm going to give myself the end of February as a deadline. Which is funny because, like, there's no deadlines in knitting. Like, nobody's sitting over you telling you you need to finish your project. Unless it's you, or unless you're knitting for someone, then maybe. Other than that, I don't know. I have a lot of like things that I wanted to knit for Christmas that I just realized I don't have the time for or the energy. Starting a new job really takes it out of you, which, I mean, it's going well. I'm enjoying what I'm doing now. But man, do I get exhausted. I don't have the ambition that I had at the beginning of the month to knit all these wonderful, cute little things. I was going to knit a garland, and maybe I still will because I have a few days before the end of Christmas, and then I can have it for next year. I don't know. We'll have to see. Otherwise, I guess I'm just hanging tight. Got some socks to work on, got a hat to finish. Maybe I'll make some more headbands because those were nice and quick. Yeah. So not too much going on over here, but I thought I'd share with you guys anyway. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do check out my other ones. I had a lot of fun making them, and you get to hear a little bit more about me. I share my story with knitting and how I got to where I am. And it was just it was a fun little hour kind of knit and chat video. So again, I'll leave that in the description. I think it'll also be on the end screen tag if you're watching this recently. Otherwise, for sure it's going to be in the description. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you did. And yeah, I guess I'll see you on the next one. Bye!